Hello. Same house, same lockdown, same day even. Alright, let's get into it. So, first up is a book tag. I figured that I'd do. I saw this a while ago and looked it up so I can remember what it was all about. It is the Guilty Reader book tag. Um, if you remember, and I think the first thing I posted was my shame of my stacked books that I'm currently reading, whether they be actively reading or books that I'm paused and I'm just setting aside with the hopes of finishing at some point, maybe, hopefully, this decade. Um, I'm a guilty reader, so I figure this is a pretty good book tag to kind of do for myself. So let's see here. So first up is, have you ever regifted a book that you were given? Um, well, my unhaul that I kind of just did is, well, only one of them was a present, and it was the Social Justice Warriors Handbook, which I found distasteful. That is something I was given, and I'm not technically re-gifting it in the sense as I'm just pushing it away from me and letting it be someone else's problem out there in the world. Um, but other than that, I have never ever re-gifted a book that I was given. I've let people borrow books that I've been given. Even if I don't particularly um enjoy the book for the most part, I figure that someone took the time to think that, I would like this book and to pick it out for me. Um, and they had good intentions when they gave it to me, so I will keep it. But honestly, most of the time when people give me books, it's either because it's a book I requested specifically, or they're just really good at guessing what I'm into. I mean, honestly, it's really not that hard. If it's like a mystery or it's related to Harry Potter or time travel in some way, I'm probably going to enjoy it. So, second question is, have you ever said you read a book when you really hadn't? Yep, done this. Um, honestly, I haven't done that since school, I guess. And even then in school, I would say I haven't done that since high school. Um, I regularly faked reading books back then. Spark Notes, I think, was starting to be a thing at the time, so I spark noted a couple of books. Um, I can say they were, I think, the ending of The Grapes of Wrath, because a character I liked died, and I got really upset, and I didn't want to finish reading it, even though it was an assignment. So I think I like spark noted that, and then I spark noted The Jungle by Upton Sinclair because I got one chapter in and just could not make it past that chapter. I kept trying, and it was not going to happen. So I accepted defeat. I'm glad I did because I know people I went to school with who cannot eat hot dogs no longer, and I love me some hot dogs. So no, thank you. So yeah, I have. Number three, have you ever borrowed a book and never returned it? Sorry, Miss Transfield. I loved it so much I had to take it home with me. Just how it was. Okay, so number four. Have you ever read a book series out of order? I've done this twice actually. Once was uh, I read Haunted, which is the fifth book in the Mediator series by Meg Cabot. I read that first because it was not noted anywhere on the cover or anything that it was part of a series. So I just saw it in my library and thought, hey, that sounds really cool. And I read it and was a little slightly lost as to what exactly was going on. And definitely understood better when a couple of years later I found the first book in the series and kind of continued on. And the other one I can think of is the Tiffany Aching series, which is kind of like a series within the Discworld series by Terry Pratchett. And that was what I got into first. Was reading that series, and then I've recently started trying to read Discworld from the very beginning, like the published beginnings. Um, so yeah. Have you ever spoiled an ending for a book for anyone? I think I may have a couple of times on Goodreads. Not like a total ending, but a couple of details that I was particularly upset about and may have ranted about a little bit. I didn't actually mean to, but it just kind of happened at the time. And then when I looked at my review a little while later and was like, oh shit, I should probably go back and put a spoiler alert in front of that. So if I did that, I'm truly sorry. I did not mean to. Let's see. Have you ever dog-eared a book? Yeah, I have. I regularly dog-ear pages. Um, I do that a lot. I used to do it when I was younger, when I liked a passage, but I didn't want to mark up my book in any way because that was before I marked up books at all or had to start marking them up when I got into college. 'Cause at the time I thought it was kind of sacrilegious to make any marks in a book whatsoever, so I just wouldn't. So I would dog ear pages, and sometimes I still do dog ear them a little bit. I have this journal, which I got this idea from Bookish Princess. She keeps like journals and she writes down like her favorite quotes or something from books she's reading, and I've started doing that rather than dog ear my pages, but I still tend to, fold them over if I happen to be reading out somewhere in public and I don't have this on me. So yeah. Let's see. Have you ever told someone you don't own a book, but you do? Um, no, no. I'm fairly upfront with everything that I read. I mean, I do have a couple of books I can think of that maybe I'll feel a little bit guilty about enjoying. Um, for the most part, I am pretty upfront. I mean, I guess it would depend on the situation. Like if I was with a group of people who I thought were particularly really intelligent, like potentially a lot more smarter than I am, I might not discuss how much I love Nora Roberts with them. But yeah, no, I've never done that really. Okay, next up on questions are, have you ever told someone you haven't read a book but you have? I have not done that either. Same same thing. I'm pretty upfront mostly about what I read or do not read. So yeah. Next question is, have you, wow, I can't read my own writing. Um, have you ever skipped a chapter or section of a book? I have. I've done that a couple of times, here and there. One I can think of is in When You Are Engulfed in Flames by David Sedaris. He has a um, little section in there that is specifically written about the spider in like his kitchen window, and I have arachnophobia, so yeah, I didn't read that. No, thank you. Um, all right, last question is, have you ever badmouthed a book you actually like? No, I would say I have not. I mean, there are some books that I like that I do know there are bad parts to them that I will talk about, but I've never actually badmouthed a book that I really enjoy. Um, Most of the time, honestly probably defend a book that I really like rather than badmouth it. That is it for that tag me. So, uh, yeah, see you here, still in lockdown.